Zapier as a tool can expand a lot. I know they support like more than 5,000 applications or something like that. But as product managers, that's something that's not really useful until you actually integrate with your work.
Midjourney compared to Bing image generator is way advanced, right? Like the attention to detail and the clarity and all of that.
With ChatGPT, you can upload only one document versus Claude AI, you can upload multiple documents, which will really help to navigate all that and summarize quickly.
I see that a lot of people are using AI to also have headshots, right? Where they upload a generic picture, where they don't need a professional photographer, right? They upload a picture and then have a background and upload it and make it look more professional.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast, Everything Product. We talk about latest technologies and various product management concepts. This is Funny Oyuru. I'm a product manager at a startup.
This is Srinath. I'm a product manager at JP Morgan.
This is Sid Saladi. I'm a product manager working for Best Buy.
Wonderful. So, folks, we have done multiple podcasts right now focusing on artificial intelligence. What are the different tools that are there? We have also done some demos for code interpreter, etc. So, what we want to do today is continue on the journey and talk about how AI tools can help us as product managers and improve our productivity. I've also recently written an article talking about how AI tools can supercharge our product management journey. And I have split into different sections. What I'm planning to do today is take each of those sections and brainstorm on what else we can do within that. So, Sidhu, maybe let me start with you. You're an avid content creator, you have a newsletter that you send every week, you're very active on LinkedIn in terms of creating content, responding to other folks, etc. So, can you give us some thoughts on how you utilize AI to improve your productivity?
Yeah, so AI has been the center of my journey, all of these days. So previously it was just ChatGPT, but now I think as we see more and more tools specific to certain use cases, I've been adopting some of those use cases. But maybe let me start with what I do for our podcast, right? Like, so podcast, like whenever we do a podcast recording and then we have a final edit, right? We need to write a description for that, and we need a title for that, and we need maybe chapters and titles for it. So I've recently used Claude for that. So ChatGPT doesn't allow you to upload a transcript and ask it. If you ask it to pick, it says it's too long. But when you use Claude, right, you can actually upload the whole transcript and ask it to give a description and also the different chapters which highlight at least specific interests of product managers and anybody who's wanting to break into product management. So it's been working really good for me, and it gets it wrong sometimes. So you have to definitely have the second set of eyes to see if it's right or wrong and all of that. But I think it's seamlessly help me create that descriptions and also even generate tags, right? So previously SEO tags were like more, we had to figure out like what we had to add and all of that. Now we can ask it to give us tags based on the popularity and all of that. So it's become a very seamless process. So imagine it used to take like 2 hours to do this before. Now it takes like 5 to 10 minutes to do it. So that's how productive AI is making me. So that's just one example, but I've used code interpreter for some data analysis, right? So it gives you graphs and all for my newsletter, where I was asking it for growth opportunities and all, where it was correctly pointing me towards at least a couple of strategies. It might not be perfect, right? But at least it's a starting point for me, because if I would have thought for different strategies, maybe I would have got 2, 3, or 4, but it gives me like 5 to 10 which I can pick from, right? And even for thumbnails, Canva has been really good, where you give it prompts and it'll actually give you ideas on what the thumbnail might look like. So that's one. And I would say with news articles, right? uh, it's always good to make it more visual and easy to read for people. Previously I used to use just text, but now I started using emojis, where you can actually ask ChatGPT to introduce emojis into your article, right? So it makes it really appealing. But if you have to do that, you have to basically go to each heading and see what the appropriate emoji is, then go search. It's very difficult to do that. So I think that's another place I started using it. So this is all on the content side, and at work or emails and all, so I've been using Google integrations, Gmail integrations, which when you give it a prompt, it actually generates an email for you. And previously, it used to take some time to get the context, word it around, and then improve it. But now it's more like giving you a first draft and you're tweaking it, and maybe you're done in 2 minutes. So that's another one. So these are set of tools, but there are a lot of tools which we can use. So specifically, one other thing which I started experimenting nowadays was max.ai. So whatever use case you have for ChatGPT, you have to copy the text into ChatGPT and then start getting answers from it. But this max.ai is like a Chrome plugin where you can use it ChatGPT at in the zone where you are in. Maybe if you are writing content somewhere, you can use it there. If you are writing maybe something on a specific website, you can use it there. So it almost is like a Grammarly plugin but with ChatGPT.
Nice. Awesome. I know you have been like very generous when you're telling that you used to spend like couple of hours in creating descriptions, the timestamps and everything, right? I've done that in the past, and it takes way more time than that because
Yeah,
you'll
that's
have to
right.
go through the entire video, get all the timestamps, and do that. It takes way more than that. So it's awesome that you're able to like save like hours and hours of time in that. And I
Yeah,
also
and
started
I,
using the
I I never
Max.ai.
used to thoroughly or religiously do it like you were doing it, right? Because when you're editing it, it was part of like what makes sense and what the flow is and all of that. But now at least if you are able to get to that 80% efficiency within AI, it's saving us a lot of time, right?
That is
One thing
correct.
which I'm very excited about, especially AI, you learn every day something new. I mean, something which I just learned in this video is the max.ai, which Sidhu just mentioned, which I have not used. I'm like, I'll probably experiment with that. Thanks, Sidhu. There.
Yeah, yeah. I think he mentioned it in one of our recordings last week, and I started using that. It is very interesting. Um, it sometimes comes on the UI and then like disturbs you, but it's very interesting that it can generate the content right then and there. Cool. So let's jump to you, Srinath. So how are you utilizing the AI tools to improve your productivity?
Yeah, first and foremost, AI has been making me way productive than before, honestly. And I've been using different tools, such as, I mean, obviously the Chat GPT, and I've been lately experimenting with a lot of the plugins like AI PDF and the code interpreter, such as those, as well as the URL plugin, which have been really helpful. Especially the AI PDF has been really helping me if I want to understand just like the available documents in the web. If I want like any new ideas or trying to understand any market analysis in that country, general customer preferences, and all that stuff, it's been really helping me to summarize quickly rather than going navigating through like hundreds of pages of documents. That's been really helpful for me. I know that it has a limitation, and there's another tool which also talk about is a Claude AI. But before going to that, so I've been using ChatGPT plugins a lot to experiment all this, and one of the stuff which I also used the URL, the link reader, which has been really helpful because sometimes you don't have time to read the big newsletters, so it really helps you to summarize and give you the main points. And these have been really helpful, especially if I want to get some new ideas for writing my articles and all that stuff. That's been really helpful for me. And the other one which I've also used was Claude AI. I think that offers a little more benefit than ChatGPT, especially with uploading documents. With ChatGPT you can upload only one document, versus Claude AI you can upload multiple documents, which will really help to navigate all that and summarize quickly. And I think from the content wise, I also felt Claude AI was little better and more by being more concise and crisp. So that's been very helpful. And the third thing which I've also been using actively is Bard. So Bard and especially the Google workspace integrations, which has been really helpful when I'm writing something. A lot of times when I start writing in a Google Doc. So it's been really helpful to make sure I'm in the going the right direction. It helps me to keep me on that same page when I'm trying to write an article. So overall, it's been very helpful for me in making me more productive.
Nice. No,
Yeah.
it's a funny thing, right? So when I hear your story, So Sidhu is utilizing AI to get, like, let's say, emojis, or get some thoughts about like what can he write in the newsletter, and then even for our videos and stuff, getting the descriptions, etc. And then the funny part was even on the consuming side. So when you're trying to consume the newsletter, you're using the AI again to utilize that link reader or something like that to read it to yourself, so that you don't have to read it. So it's so funny that the entire journey of a customer is utilizing AI at one place or the other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think it gives us
Let's
more options, right? Like for sure. So I think that's where we have to make more use of it. Yeah.
I'm sure there are ton more plugins, ton more stuff, tools,
No,
and out there. Probably it's an ocean of information which we can continue to learn and explore.
and we have to do like a
actually,
regular AI update series.
one more thing I want to add here, right, is like, as content creators right now, I think we can give the title to us. I've been doing this for the last year or so. As content creators, we spend a lot of time figuring out what to share to the customers, even after we create the video, right? On a weekly basis nowadays, I've been sharing our content in different social platforms. So when I want to do that, I want to give a different context. So for example, when I'm sharing with MBA students, the context is different. When you're sharing with professionals who are product managers, the context is different. So I've been utilizing those prompts to generate the right text, right concise text, so that I can share it at different platforms. So even that way, AI has been really useful.
Yeah, I'll give a small example, funny. So I normally do questions or poll in my newsletter. So previously, I used to basically come up with some questions and answers and all of that and make it more interactive, right? But the whole goal was that I want to make it enjoyable and interactive, and also I want to make it that people will learn from other product managers, what other product managers are doing, and all of that. So now, like if I ask an AI of like what I wanted, what my audience is, it'll give me like 10 different options, which I can pick one from. So essentially I'll know what is the best, right? So it's actually also making me more innovative than I was before, right? So that's an example of what you are saying, right? Like how do you tweak it to the audience which you are catering towards.
I wanted to write an article. So I've seen similar things online, but the way I wanted to phrase it was, the AI tools are like an intern that you never had. So the thought process that I had was, that person can give you a lot of content, give you a lot of content, give you a lot of data, anything. But at the end of the day, that person is not at a state where they can make the decisions on their own. So that's where our human intelligence comes into picture, and finally concluding that.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome guys. So let's deep dive a little bit more into the product management space here, right? All of us are product managers, day in, day out. We do a lot of things within product management. So let's go a little bit deeper on how we're utilizing AI tools to help ourselves in that direction. So Srinath, maybe let me start with you. How are you utilizing AI there?
Yeah. So in terms of the product management, I've been using primarily just to for idea generation or any marketplace deep dive to understand the general customer preferences or consumer preferences, as well as some of the consumer behaviors, how they generally use that products. And last but not least, I also use for like to understand the competitive landscape, because obviously when you're building something, there are so many competitors out there. So it's hard to grab some of the information you can, but it probably takes several hours. Versus ChatGPT generally gives me a high level summary of the what are the key features that this company offers and that we are missing, and what we can do better and all that stuff. So I've been using more around the idea generation. So to make sure, okay, I'm in the right direction and we are on right path to acquire more and more customers.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree. Idea generation is one big thing, because day in, day out, we want to get a lot of ideas and then finally conclude on one. So that way, ChatGPT or like any AI tools could be like extremely helpful to give that broad view of ideas. Sidhu, what are you using?
Me, so I'm trying to be cautious that I don't use any of expose any of our company information, right? So not using it as much as I could have used at work, but I know I like at least the primarily use case which where I don't maybe expose some of the company information would be market research, right? So if I'm you know trying to build a new product or new explore a new problem space, getting generic answers like what articles could I refer, how is the competition, are there any outlets out there which I can get inspiration from, and all of that has been really really helpful. And I'm actually looking forward to see if every company would have their own chat gpt kind of tool, right? Which could help them use it for a lot of stuff, right? I see data analysis could be something which we can use it for generating PRDs, summarizing user feedback. I think that's a space where I want these tools to help, or at least me being able to use it at the company level without worrying about the data being exposed somewhere or not, right? So I think these are like really, really good use cases.
That
Yeah,
is
I
true.
just want to double click, especially on what just Sidhu said. For all the viewers out there, I mean, do not share or copy your content in Chat GPT, which is outside your workspace. I mean, you're sharing all the confidential information. In our company, everything is blocked, Chat GPT, but everything is blocked, nothing works. I generally use for simple idea generation rather than going into very detailed stuff, which can expose confidential information. So, everyone out there, please be aware of that. One big use case which was helpful for me also is translation and localization. So we launch products worldwide. When you try to understand some of the feedback and all that stuff, again, you don't put that, but if you just want to understand a simple word what that means, I know Google Translate is there as well. But chat gpt has been very helpful to help translate that.
Oh,
Excellent.
translations. When I remember a story you talk about translations when I was working for Bosch 10 years back, right? So the company was paying a group of people to translate the text in English to all different languages, and I think
Yes.
it exists in
Same.
80 different languages. And when you look at the cost of it, right, it's millions of dollars. And now you can actually do it at the tap of your button, right? Like using ChatGPT. So look at the level of innovation.
Exactly. I mean, I remember in one of our product launches where we did in Germany, and when we sent our customer satisfaction survey, we had like thousands of responses, but everything was in German. And I don't know German. So it was so tough to navigate to understand what exactly people are saying. I mean, I wish we had something like this at that time.
Now you can actually input all the data and ask it to summarize like the top pain points in English. Right?
That's true.
Exactly.
No, there are few things that I have been trying to do actually. So when you think about writing PRDs, right? That's one of the biggest things that we do. I try to give that context to ChatGPT to say, hey, give me more description. I'll tell that to say, hey, these are the pain points that I know of. Give me the description so that I can word it better in the document. And then one more important thing that I started doing recently, maybe I can give a quick demo of that as well, is flowcharts. So day in day out, we try to explain to people that hey, when we go from one thing to another, this is how the overall flow looks like, right? I've been using this plugin. Let me give a quick demo of that. So there are multiple tools you can use honestly, and there is the show me diagrams which I have been using, and obviously whimsical. Yeah, whimsical. So both of these have been like really good in terms of trying out how to create the flowcharts and stuff. So let me give a simple example, right? Create a flowchart explaining the Amazon return process. So it can use either of those plugins, or if you are liking one thing or the other, or if you have an account with one thing or the other, you can definitely tell it to utilize that instead of the other one. So if you can
So
see here,
also
it's utilizing
whimsical.
whimsical diagrams.
Oh, whimsical. You can use whimsical and flow together.
Yeah, you can actually
Yeah.
specify it if you want. You can just ask it to use one thing or the other,
Oh,
and
okay.
then the funny thing is, it generated a simple diagram, right? It'll give a link for you to go to that, and
Mhm.
then you can go to that link and change however you like, or you can give comments to it as well to say, hey, instead of giving a single flow, make it swim lane diagram, etc. It'll modify everything and give it to you accurately. You can even ask it to like change the colors. It's giving purple here, right? Let's say you want blue, you want yellow, etc. can ask it to modify however you like.
Man, it saves a lot of time for presentations when you have
Yep.
to come up with user flows, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
quite
also
an
another probably very helpful during our remote work, right? Like especially as product managers. I mean, I know it's always helpful to go and meet, do a lot of this on board in person. I think something like this can also be very helpful.
Yep.
yeah.
Actually, one more demo that I wanted to show was Zapier. I've always been a big fan of Zapier, but Zapier as a tool can expand a lot. I know they support like more than 5,000 applications or something like that. But as product managers, that's something that's not really useful until you actually integrate with your work. But for someone who has integrations like that, definitely try it out. Let me give a quick demo of that also, right?
Yeah, and for
So
anybody who's
a
like
very
watching this, right? I think Funny has mentioned all of these use cases in the article, so go there to better understand what these use cases are.
Yeah, that was very insightful.
Thank you. And let me give a quick example. So Zapier as a product, you need to create something called Zaps. Zaps are basically like automations that you can create to say, if this happened, then go do this. So let me do this, right? So I'll just say create a Zap um, to send an email to um, send an email. Let me just say send an email when I type send an email in ChatGPT. So when I do this, so it'll basically, I mean, I already connected my Zapier account here. So what it'll do, it'll utilize Zapier and it'll create a Zap automatically. And then you can modify the Zap however you like once it creates it. So as you can
Oh,
see here, it
actually,
created a preview.
I didn't know that actually.
So you can just click on this. It'll take you to Zapier and then you can modify the Zap however you like. And next time when you just type send an email, it will utilize that integration. For example, you have created certain things to send an email, right? And you can just say send an email to this person, and then it'll automatically send that email. I mean, I think it'll create a draft in your email, and then you can go there and send it.
Yeah, I was thinking actually it is more like you adding ChatGPT prompt into the apps and it automatically generates content for you. But this is like it's creating workflows for you, right?
Yep.
Oh, so
And within the workflow, does it also give any condensations, Funny?
What do you mean by condensations?
So when it automates, it's basically okay. No, my bad.
there
I
are
think it's
conditions, I guess.
Oh,
like, for
conditions.
instance, you can add conditions. Oh, okay. If you're sending an email to Srinath, please make sure you're including the specific words and that stuff. Can we also go that level? Just curious.
We can try it out. I have never tried it that detailed, but there are several other things we can do like this.
God.
Yeah, actually, I remember one thing like while we were doing marketing for our podcast, right? I was trying to figure out if we can maybe have a trigger of like whenever there's a video live and then post it into certain channels on Facebook and LinkedIn. I was trying to build that in like manually workflow in Zapier itself. But if we can make ChatGPT build that for us, maybe whenever the podcast is live, it'll actually post in all the channels which we regularly post, and it'll save us a lot of time.
Yep.
I don't know if that's
Oh.
possible now,
And
but
I've seen one more thing recently. I haven't personally tried it, but there is a video that I came across in YouTube where someone was talking about creating a web scrape, utilizing some tool
Mhm.
that can automatically utilize ChatGPT and take that content, scrape into whatever website you like. So, for example, you want to post it into some Facebook group, which
Oh,
obviously
okay.
you can't directly do because you don't own that Facebook group. But utilizing these scraping tools, you can automate all of that.
Oh,
Hmm.
Yeah, we should definitely play around with that.
Yep.
Actually, one last demo that I want to show here, right, is Midjourney. I've been a big fan of that for quite some time. And even for the articles that I've been publishing recently, in order to generate the title image, I've been primarily using Midjourney. I know it's subscription based, so you'll have to pay for it on a monthly basis, but still, I love that. Um, Let me share my entire screen and show that.
I
So
paid like for 1 month and then
another
stopped.
Another weird thing about Midjourney is you'll have to use Discord to do that. So recently, I wrote an article about system of intelligence and how um, people can utilize system of intelligence and partner integrations. In order for me to do that, I wanted to get some ideas about how I can have the title image. So I played around with it to see, okay, I want someone who's trying to visualize a lot of integrations, visualizing a system, etc. It can generate crazy amount of images like that. It can tweak however you like. This is the final image that I went with in my article, but you can generate bunch of images like this with whatever the thoughts that you have.
Do
Yep.
you want to
And there
try
are,
one and see, Funny?
yeah, give me a thought. Let's
Thought,
imagine.
a product manager, astronaut, building products in moon.
No, you can
Yeah.
try that.
So yeah, I'm also like very basic. I I know I don't know the complex prompts which we use here. So I just do like, I think it's Imagine, right? I think there are also a lot more where you can maybe use existing pictures to modify it and all of that.
And the funny part is, um, I mean, there are some images that it takes from some actual humans. I don't know who these
Okay.
people actually are, but it tries to imagine someone who it knows is a product manager and puts a astronaut hat into that.
Yeah.
Yep. And let's see the other command that we gave. A product manager is an
So
astronaut building products on the moon.
yeah, so the U and the V, the U is a version of the version, right? And what is the difference between U and V?
Oh yeah. So U is basically so think of these as four images, right? One, two, three, four. U is basically it'll continue to optimize that specific version, and then V is basically it gives variations. Let's try it out, right? So for example, this is the image it generated when we said a product manager building products on the moon. So let's say I like this second one, and let's say I want to give it as U2. Okay, I'll also do a V2 just to see how it differentiates, right? So U2 basically what it did is it just enhanced that image, made that clarity better so that you can just download this and use it anywhere. But when we called it as a V2, it is now rethinking how it can further optimize the second image and give different variations of it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I haven't played with this. I mean, today I learned something new again. I'll try to play it.
No, I love this thing.
So I'm just curious. Again, maybe beneficial. Probably it's beneficial for our users as well. Can we use this information without any citation and all that stuff? Like I know
Yeah.
if you need to download from Shutterstock and that kind of stuff, you need to pay. You need to and all.
Yep. You can use this because you're already paying for the subscription for this, right? You can
Yeah.
use this. I
Okay,
usually stated a source as Midjourney, but I
got it.
don't think there is any need to do that.
But I
Yeah,
guess
if you
it's
see, can
also,
see here, right?
yeah. This is
It created
original
multiple
content, right?
variations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it created
Oh.
multiple variations of it with similar things. It has a moon, it continued to keep that. The astronaut is sitting somewhere and then building the products, it continued to keep that. But it added some variations about the tools he is building and stuff, etc. Some changes in the background variations and stuff.
This may be a dumb question. Can we use Midjourney for creating any flows or any of that diagrams, that kind of stuff?
I've tried it few times. It's not that great. It could take you few attempts to get to that. But if you're trying to imagine something completely out of the world, or if you're trying to imagine something very specific, Midjourney is exceptional. And I don't know if you guys tried or not. If you haven't, definitely try Adobe Firefly. I love that thing. I think it's better than Midjourney in terms of understanding what you asked
Right.
for. But there are some limitations to it. They're still in beta version, so you can't use those images in order for you to do anything else. It's just for trial purposes.
Oh, I have to try it
Awesome.
out. At least for Midjourney, I feel that it's way, way compared to Bing image generator is way, way advanced, right? Like attention to detail and the clarity and all of that. But I still did if I want to create something for my newsletter which has a title in it, it doesn't get it right. So I asked it many times to give the title, but it, I think, spits out some gibberish in the
Yeah,
pictures, right? It's
text
not good
is
with text.
text is still not good with Midjourney. If you ask for some text, it's gonna come in a whole different language. Yeah. That's the thing, Sidhu. I don't know if you remember, right? Yesterday when we were talking about LLMs, so LLMs as a language learning model, it is understanding certain things and then spitting out the exact similar format. So if you're giving text, it's giving text. If you're giving images, it's giving images. But if you're trying to combine these two, then it's not doing a good job.
I think that's where the whole discussion of AI versus the human brain comes in, right? Human brain can, move across all of these modalities and think through and give an output, but AIs are very use case specific. So that's why we have a text LLM, an image generator, and so on and so forth.
I want to add one more thing. Have you guys tried generating images through code interpreter? Extremely bad. Extremely
Oh,
bad.
does it do images? I've only tried graphs,
It'll
but
create
no images.
images.
Oh, it can
It'll
create.
create images.
So we are actually discovering new abilities and.
I want to add one more thing there, right? So when I think about ChatGPT code interpreter, that LLM is really good in terms of text. Midjourney is specifically good in terms of images. So now go to code interpreter and then ask for an image, and then tell that, hey, I want the specific text in that. It will create an image which will be extremely bad, but it'll have the appropriate text correctly in that. If you go to Midjourney, it'll give the image really well, but the text is extremely bad in that.
Yeah.
I've also used recently Chat GPT for images. Oh, it's so bad, honestly. I mean, I couldn't get anything, and I was trying to get some stuff. I mean, it was giving me in different languages as well, not even in my language. So
Yeah.
it was so bad.
No, even Bard actually does some format of sort of this where it's accepting text and also images, but the output is just text. So you can give it images to read information from it. It's good for that, but it doesn't do the other part. So I think, like, when we talk about the next big step in AI, it's kind of going through voice, images, and text, and all of this together and giving us an output. That will be like the next step, right?
Yep. It's that end-to-end flow, like it can do everything rather than us doing the chunks and chunks of stuff.
So we are
Awesome.
now calling the intern AI to a employee AI.
Yeah, hopefully sometime.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Let's talk about one more thing, right? Personal branding. What I totally believe is AI tools can exceptionally improve our personal branding at different tools. Wanted to get your thoughts on how you guys are using that. Sidhu, maybe let me start with you.
Personal branding specifically, right? I think we have talked a lot about how LinkedIn helps us get jobs and all of that stuff, right? So I think we have to make sure that that's our landing page where we talk about what we do, what our accomplishments are, how can we add value to that specific role which we are targeting and all of that. So I think maybe formatting your LinkedIn profile where you have a biography, right? At least you talk about the main key points of your journey and all of that. Using some of these tools would help you stand out and smoothen out the whole process, I would say. And I see that a lot of people are using AI to also have headshots, right, where they upload a generic picture, where they don't need a professional photographer, right? They upload a picture and then have a background and upload it and make it look more professional. So tweaking the text and all of the experiences and all of that, and also the headshot would help us.
Srinand, how are you using it?
So yeah, primarily, especially LinkedIn. I mean, I know LinkedIn has launched a beta feature when you're drafting responses. You can let it write for you as well, and what it will do is it will do it in a draft versus directly going and publishing, which I felt was very helpful. And some of the other stuff which was helpful for me is optimizing my social media presence when I'm trying to post my articles and all that stuff. What's the best time to in the post so I can get more engagement. When last but not least, like it was also helpful for me to get recommendations, so content recommendations or people probably who I can follow and that kind of stuff. So overall, these three stuff it's been very helpful. I mean, obviously, drafting a good LinkedIn profile is very important, and especially for all the job seekers out there, use AI efficiently to make sure you, especially you need the eyes of a recruiters or hiring managers, right? So it's been very helpful to craft draft accordingly.
That's true. Yeah, branding has been really important, right? Nowadays, the personal branding to show as a person how you're doing across all of these platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads nowadays, Twitter, etc. It'll make it easy for us. Actually, all of these AI tools are making it easy for us to have that presence. Otherwise, you have kids, you have family around, you need to go out, etc. It's tough to keep that consistency, but these AI tools make it like exceptionally better. And like you said, LinkedIn for sure. Like as professionals, we need to have a very good professional profile, and LinkedIn is the way to go in order to create your title images or your profile or giving some descriptions, giving your taglines, etc. All of this AI has been exceptionally helpful in creating a very good brand there.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. Let's do this. If there is two things that you want our viewers to take from this entire podcast, what would that be? Srinath, maybe let me start with you.
So AI is pretty good, but one thing I want everyone to keep in mind is use it responsibly. Do not upload confidential information, or do not use for the company or stuff, but use it for more around idea generation and brainstorming. So that is one thing that everyone needs to keep in mind. And second, try to explore around the plugins, right? So every day there's so many plugins that are coming in, especially within ChatGPT. I think there are more than now, um, I guess it's like close to 200, but I can't recall the exact number. But there's so many different types of plugins that people can explore. And one thing which, I mean, funny, I want to thank you is I learned a lot, especially when you shared your article and some of the stuff. So for all the viewers out there, please go and check that article. It's pretty helpful.
Awesome, Sidhu, what do you think?
First of all, I'd say everybody to subscribe to this channel to get more AI updates so that they can start using AI in their daily life. So that's one takeaway. The second is,
Yes.
I'd say anybody, right, who at least I feel that it will be really, really helpful. Take a day out from your week and think about all the things which you do and think what AI tools can you do to enhance it or automate it. So that'll at least help you get to a spot where you identified some things which you can automate by AI, and you then maybe from the next week onwards you'll start practicing some of these. So I think having AI is like out there right now, and you have it's a one-way street. You have to adopt it, right? You cannot shy away from it. So why not use it for the benefit of you being more productive? Try that and see. You'll definitely save a lot of time, I'd say.
Yep. My two takeaways would be the first one, like Sidhu said, right? Think of everything that you do. And if you're spending more than half an hour on an hour doing anything online, don't do that. Your first step should be going to some AI tool to see if that can do it. That spending that half an hour would save you like hours and hours down the line. So definitely do that. And the second one I would say is pay for these tools. So there are several tools where people are giving you a kind of a subscription model so that you can generate a certain thing. Usually we have a hesitation to say, hey, I don't want to pay for it because it's another subscription that I'm paying. But pay for it and try it out. It could save you like hours and hours of time, and it could change your entire personal brand when you're trying to give outputs which have such strong quality. So I would totally encourage people trying out different tools and paying for those. It'll also encourage the corresponding companies and teams to build more tools like that.
Yeah.
Awesome, boys. Wonderful conversation. Thanks again for your time. And for everyone who's watching, don't forget to subscribe to Everything Product. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.